following program is a SUTV student production. The views expressed are not necessarily those of Salisbury University, the University System of Maryland, its regents, administration, officers, employees, or representatives.
On the broadcast tonight, following Veterans Day, we take a look at future servicemen and women right here at SU and the future of the university's ROTC program. My Classes, the program which is used for a number of tasks, is up for review. We take a look at what this means for the program's future on this campus. Reaching Out, we'll take a look at how the president of the university and the Salisbury City Council are taking steps to reach out to students and members of the community. And Giving Back, Miranda Haney tells us about what students did over the weekend in an effort to show their love for the city of Salisbury. This is SUTV Weekly News. Good evening. The entire week we've been celebrating those who have served and continue to serve this country in the U.S. Armed Forces. Well, right here on campus, there's an ROTC program that trains and prepares SU students for that very service. Tonight, Ryan Downing gives us a look at that program and what it means to the students involved.
The Salisbury University Reserved Officers Training Corps, or ROTC program, trains tomorrow's officers today. But right now, they need a few more good men to help train these cadets. Captain Kyle Sullivan is a former active duty U.S. Army officer and the only instructor in Salisbury's ROTC program.
I'm currently in this spot as a contractor. With the instructors, you've got active duty personnel, you've got active guard, you've got full-time technicians, and you've got contractors. And we have a technician slot for another captain just at this school.
The other officer that was here recently left to teach at another school, leaving a training void for cadets like Joshua Tor.
A couple weeks ago, we lost Captain Engelman, who was infantryman. So learning battle drills was kind of his strong point.
Having served for 5 years on active duty in hotspots like Korea, Iraq, and Afghanistan, Captain Sullivan brings a wealth of field experience that he passes on to future officer hopefuls like Robert Swada.
They're the ones that are going to be teaching us, ultimately, preparing us, pretty much putting people's lives in our hands. So it only makes sense to learn from people who have been there.
According to the U.S. Army, there are over 20,000 cadets enrolled in ROTC programs nationwide. With SU's program growing each year, experts worried that with too few instructors and a lack of former active duty veterans to help, Salisbury's program effectiveness may suffer. In Salisbury, I'm Ryan Downing, reporting.
And Blackboard, which is commonly referred to as My Classes, will soon be put under a microscope in order to determine if the system is the best option for the university. The site, which students and faculty use for a number of tasks ranging from submitting work to viewing grades and interclass communication, will be reviewed by a committee that will examine the program's efficiency and effectiveness. For more on the upcoming decision and what it could mean for students, we go to Taylor Rogers.
My Classes is a learning management software that connects Salisbury University faculty, staff, and students in an educational environment. SU's current learning management system, Blackboard, will have to renew its contract come June 2015. The Instructional Design and Delivery Department is in the process of evaluating multiple learning management systems. We talked to the manager, Melissa Thomas, on how comparing these systems will benefit the university.
Now that we're doing this review, it's nice to know what we have as far as this meeting the needs of what the faculty need and that the students need for their courses, but also because technology is changing, what it is that's out there that other people are doing, because there's definitely more than one learning management system. Well, as part of the whole process, we are looking at different vendors, and the very first step was to have a 30-minute demo. We have a short list of demos that we are looking at, and from different vendors, and so we've asked each one of those to give us a 30-minute presentation, basically describing what their system is, both from the instructor's point of view, the student's point of view, what components is part of their system.
But some feel My Classes doesn't need to be examined. We caught up with one student who told us about her thoughts on Blackboard.
I go in my classes every day to check my grades and the syllabus and check what I need to do for each class. I think it's a good thing that Salisbury University is trying to further our education using a new system, but I think it would be really inconvenient to students since we already know how to use Blackboard in my classes, and it would just add more stress and everything to us, so why fix something that's not broken?
Since 2000, My Classes has worked in coherence with the classroom learning experience through different forms of learning management systems. To track the progression of assessing alternative My Classes vendors, or for more general information, visit SU's Learning Management System Review website. For SUTV News, this is Taylor Rogers reporting.
Thank you, Taylor. And earlier today, University President Dr. Janet Dudley Eschbach held open office hours. The event gave students the opportunity to meet and speak to Dr. Janet. Sarah Thompson was in the Purdue Hall atrium and brings us that report tonight.
Today in Purdue Hall, President Dudley Eschbach decided to open her office hours to the campus community. Faculty and students are currently asking questions about the pressing matters here at Salisbury University. Some of the topics and concerns raised were in regards to international students, pedestrian safety on campus, the I Love Salisbury event, and the new parking situation. Dr. Janet and her staff were able to give insight into these concerns and were able to offer as much information as they could.
I think about student safety issues. That's really first in my mind. I work with university police to try to identify the areas of concern around campus and off campus. Whether it's adding a safe ride vehicle, we've hired additional security staff the last few years.
I suggested during the office hours to submit a waiver program where certain groups and organizations during the big event or during I Love Salisbury would go to different areas like that and impact people who are less fortunate.
It's a great opportunity for us to know more about what is going on the campus and to know more about the idea from the faculties.
A president who sits at her desk all the time isn't doing her job, in my opinion. I think you need to be out and about and really listening.
As the meeting concluded, Dr. Dudley Eschbach said she would like to see more students involved here at the open office hour meetings so she can connect with them and hear their concerns about Salisbury University. She said she might even pop in on your dinner at Commons, so be prepared. For SUTV News, this is Sarah Thompson.
Thank you, Sarah. And future open office hour sessions with the president will be sent to students via email. Tomorrow, members of the Salisbury community will have the opportunity to listen to various speakers at Ignite Salisbury. The event is aimed at highlighting the good that is going on in the city. The event will take place at 6 o'clock p.m. at the downtown firehouse. When we return, we'll take a look at the weather, hear from a gubernatorial candidate, and see what's coming up in SOAP.
Looking for these? You drive buzzed. It could be one very expensive ride.
First, you gotta make bail. Then pay me to get your car back.
Your insurance premiums will go through the roof.
And my legal fees just keep adding up. All told, it could end up costing you $10,000.
Buzzed, busted, and broke. Because buzz driving is drunk driving.
And now Travis Bush gives us a look at the weather.
Let's take a look at the current conditions around Salisbury. Skies are clear, which will allow for the temperatures to drop lower than they were last night, into the low to mid-20s. Currently, the temperature is 32 degrees with a calm wind. The calming winds in tonight will also help the temperatures drop well into the 20s. Now, for your high temperatures throughout the region for today. Thanks to the cold front that passed through the area during the day yesterday, we saw temperatures in the eastern U.S. well below average. Today in Salisbury, we saw clear and sunny skies with a high near 45. Taking a look at the current conditions across the country, you can see the cold front that passed through the area yesterday well off the east coast. The high pressure that is now located over the Mississippi Valley will influence the weather for the next 4 to 5 days. The high will provide us with sunny, clear skies. However, the clear skies will also allow for the temperatures to cool off quite a bit each night, as the heat from the day is radiated back into the atmosphere. As you can see by looking at the satellite radar, the central part of the country is experiencing relatively clear skies as a result of the high pressure that's sitting over the area. The clear skies will continue to move east through the remainder of the week and eventually into our area. Now, for the forecast for the beginning part of your weekend, you can see the high pressure that was over the Mississippi Valley is now situated over eastern North Carolina. This will provide us from winds from the south, which will usher in warm temperatures from the Gulf states into our areas on Friday. However, there will be slightly more clouds in the forecast Saturday and Sunday, with the temperatures warming each day. Now, to begin your week, you can expect the skies to turn cloudy as the rain chances increase into Monday as a warm front will pass through our area. However, the rain does not mean a return to the cold temperatures just yet, though. For Tuesday, the rain chances will remain with us, but because the warmest air is always located directly before the cold front, we will be experiencing the warmest temps we've seen for a while. Now, let's take a look for your next 36 hours. You can expect clear skies tonight. As the winds diminish, the radiational cooling will allow temperatures to fall into low to mid-20s. Tomorrow will be sunny, clear skies with highs near 55. Tomorrow night will not be as cold as tonight, as the winds will begin to shift from the south, with lows only dropping into the low 30s. Now for your next 7 days. You can expect a gradual increase in temperatures from tomorrow through Sunday, as highs will jump from 55 tomorrow to 66 on Sunday. Monday and Tuesday, the rain chances increase as the next system will enter our area. Temperatures could possibly hit 70 Monday or Tuesday, although after the cold weather we've been seeing, it will feel much warmer than that. The cold front will finally pass through our area Wednesday, leaving sunny skies and much colder temperatures. For the past week, we've all heard of the aftermath of Typhoon Haiyan in the Philippines. At the time of landfall, the typhoon has sustained winds near 200 miles an hour, the gusts reaching and possibly exceeding 230 miles an hour. In the Western Hemisphere, there has been no such storm that can be compared to Haiyan. And just to put this into perspective, the typhoon had more energy than the hurricanes Katrina and Sandy combined. The storm made landfall at about 7 a.m. Friday, their time. In the days leading up to landfall, as the strength of the storm became certain, people around the globe began to worry about the low elevation and the high storm surge. The highest elevation in the area that was in the immediate path is only 34 feet above sea level. Many feared that the death toll would top 10,000. The storm was extremely symmetric with a well-defined eye, which just goes to show how intense the storm actually was. In the days following the landfall, images of the destruction were being shown all over TV. In Tacloban City, which was near the center of the storm as it made landfall, the force of the storm surge, which is estimated to have been anywhere from 26 to 30 feet, pushed the cargo ships that were well offshore onto the beach. Currently, as of 4 p.m. this afternoon, only an estimated 2,275 people have been killed by the storm. This can be attributed to the advanced forecasting and warning systems for the globe. Without the early warning and evacuations, there is no doubt that the death toll would be much higher. One of the most iconic images that have come out of this disaster has been the destruction of the Tacloban City Airport. As you can see, the picture in 2012 was taken, and then just compare it to the destruction after the storm. Everything's gone, everything's wiped away. And personally, just from the pictures that I've seen, the damage that I've seen is more of a tornado than a hurricane. That's how severe the winds were. And yesterday, the Philippines was hit by an earthquake. However, it was not the area that was directly affected by the hurricane. It was more in the southern part of the country. So it has been a rough week for the Philippines. That's all for this week in weather. Now back to you, Eli.
Thanks, Travis. And last Wednesday, the Salisbury City Council hosted the first of 4 events in which they talked to residents of the city and gave them the opportunity to voice their concerns on various issues. Sarah Wood was there and brings us that tonight.
This past week, SUTV went to the event Coffee with Your Council, in which citizens of Salisbury could meet up with their city representatives in order to discuss issues concerning the city or what they really enjoy about Salisbury. This event is the first of the 4 listening events that they will be holding around the city this year, and this is the first one in the university area.
I think that the most important thing here that I heard was the process of going and enjoying yourself and getting back home or going out to enjoy yourself includes a couple opportunities to either be a really good neighbor or be a really bad neighbor. And that's not true just for the students, that's true for residents of this city who are not students. And you can leave a positive mark. I think you should, anywhere you go in the world, even if it's for that short period of time, a good life lesson is to leave a positive mark. Leave an impression where people are going to be smiling thinking about the fact that you left that impression there.
It's easy to think, oh, college students are going to be transient, they're only going to be here 3 or 4 years, and then we talk about the brain drain. Well, make them want to stay. And I think that was one of the most important things we heard tonight was make them want to stay. And we want students here. We want them here now, and we want them here after they graduate and get the benefit of that education. And that starts with us, reaching out to the students as much as the students taking responsibility for their actions and for
Thank you, Sarah. Now, Jamie Potter gives us a look at what we can find in this week's edition of the school newspaper.
This is Jamie Potter with this week's edition of This Week in the Flyer. Covering a large portion of the front page of this week's edition is Shannon Wiley's article titled SU's Journey to Diversity. Wiley writes about the ways in which Salisbury University is trying to find the right mix of diversity and homogeneity after being seen as the least diverse school in Maryland in 2001. Sharing the front page is Alexandra Duggan's article titled, Studies Suggest Maryland Colleges Show Signs of Alcohol Abuse. Duggan writes how 20% of Maryland college students show signs of alcohol abuse and dependency. She talks to a nurse from Student Health Services talking about all the physical health consequences of binge drinking. Also, Duggan informs readers that 10 presidents in surrounding Maryland colleges are working to improve this issue. In the editorial section, 10 different Flyer staff members each wrote an entry in the article, Our View, 10 Things You Didn't Realize When You Were a Kid. The whole article is very relatable with intriguing names for each entry such as SpongeBob Knows Prison Slang. Did you know that Beauty and the Beast depicts the stereotypical abusive relationship? Read the article to see how. On the next page, a proud twin, Adriana Weisberg, decides to share her sister's speech simply because she says it is just too good not to be heard. This is an article titled Gabby's Speech. She writes how her sister has paralyzed vocal cords, which makes it very difficult for her to be heard. The speech was not chosen, Adriana writes, but has been published in the editorial section and is worth a reading. That's all for This Week in the Flyer. Back to you, Eli.
And earlier today, Charles Lawler, who is running in the Republican primary in the Maryland gubernatorial race, sat down with us in the studio to talk about his stance on some major issues facing the state.
Our biggest problem is professional politicians with no leadership experience. And the good thing about our Lawler administration, or what we bring to the table, is the exact opposite. We're not in it to make it a career. We believe that the founding fathers never wanted us to make it a career, nor should it be. But we do believe in the importance of leadership, strong leadership experience, and not just leading processes and systems, but also leading people.
Students coming out of college are in need of jobs.
Yes.
How do you plan to produce jobs here in Maryland for the unemployed and future job seekers?
From the day that I get sworn in as your governor here in Maryland, that sign that says Governor Martin O'Malley will come down, it won't be replaced with Governor Charles Lawler. It'll be replaced with a tagline that says Maryland is open for business. Everything about what we do is going to be about employing people and putting them to work. And I hope that the students here at this university will help me when they serve them as their governor.
And now Jenna Payne gives us a look at what's coming up in SOAP.
Well, tonight we're having our last committee meeting of the semester in Devilbus 123 at 8 p.m. We're going over all of the events that we have for the remainder of the semester, so if you're interested in helping out with those or finding out what they are, feel free to come out. An hour after, we're having a showing of Elysium, which is in Devilbus 123 as well, at 9, and it's supposed to be a really good movie, so if you can't make it tonight, we're showing it again on Friday at 9 and then Sunday at 1. And then our last event of the week is on Thursday. We're selling tickets for the second Hunger Games, which is Catching Fire. We're selling the tickets from the information desk in GUC at 8:30, and the line starts at 8. So if you're interested in buying a ticket for that, please come out, and we hope that you all enjoy our events for this week. Thanks.
And we'll be back with sports after this quick break.
Bring this week.
It's easy to tell if you've had way too many. But what if you've had just one too many? Buzz driving is drunk driving.
Now we go to Kat Murphy with this week's SU Sports Update.
The Salisbury University football team saw its title defense of the Empire 8 Athletic Conference Championship come to an end with a 24-23 overtime loss to Ithaca College on Saturday at Seagull Stadium. Salisbury outgained the Bombers and held an edge in time of possession. The Seagulls will close out the regular season next Saturday, hosting Frostburg State University. The number 9 Salisbury University men's soccer team fell 1-0 in the CAC championship match Saturday afternoon to York College. The Spartans scored the lone goal in the 11th minute of the match and outshot Salisbury 19-9. The Seagulls now await the announcement of the NCAA soccer tournament bracket set to be declared in the near future. And the Salisbury University volleyball team earned the right to fight for its 3rd straight CAC championship, defeating the University of Mary Washington 3-2 on November 7th. Kills from Tam Weems, Julie Poston, and Maddie Smith brought the Gulls to an extended first set, but lost 27-25. The Gulls stole the 2nd and 4th match, bringing a 5th game into action. The teams were unable to grab more than a 2-point lead, but Smith and Stouffer both reached double-digit kills, allowing a 17-15 win for the Gulls. Then, on November 9th, the Gulls took on top-seeded Christopher Newport University and lost 3-0. The 29-5 Gulls led early with the help of kills from Poston and Weems. The Gulls continued to keep the score close, but the captains took the 2nd and 3rd set for the win. Salisbury now awaits the announcement of the NCAA tournament, which will be revealed later this week. That's all for SU Sports. This is Kat Murphy for SUTV Sports.
Thanks, Kat. And Salisbury University's field hockey team defeated Christopher Newport University on Saturday to claim the CAC Division III Field Hockey Championship. We caught up with one of those players to talk about what's coming up next for these ladies.
We've watched a lot of hockey, a lot of other teams playing. We watched the team that we're going to play on Saturday, so we kind of know how their style of play is. And then we've also watched ourselves play to see what we can do better. I want everyone to come out and support. We need everyone in this game, especially because it's huge. We're going to be playing the defending national champions, so go Gulls.
And the club field hockey team participated in the National Field Hockey League Fall Championships. Brooke Reese has that story for us tonight.
Weekend, the Salisbury University Club Field Hockey team traveled to Virginia Beach to compete in the National Field Hockey League Fall Championships. Despite finishing with a 1-2 record, the team returned home to reflect on their experience and how being a part of the team benefited their college experience.
It was really awesome. I was so excited because we've worked so hard the last 4 years, and finally getting there was like a really big reward and a really good way to end my college career of field hockey.
I would say just the team aspect and being around people that care about you and want to play with you and enjoy what they're doing. And just, I mean, field hockey is a great way to, I guess, exercise, but at the same time make friends and have fun. So definitely that whole team aspect.
I guess every single tournament that we played in to get up to the point that we got to, I guess every weekend we just prepared in practice. Coming up to nationals, we added a bunch of practices in throughout the week to prepare.
In the 2 seasons I played, this was the strongest team so far, and hopefully next year the incoming freshmen we have, they have higher standards to look up to, so hopefully they can reach it for next year.
I've loved club hockey. The girls are awesome. It's so much fun, and it's no pressure. You feel like it's really easy to, want to go to practice and want to go to the tournaments on the weekends. It's a good way to play the sport that you love without having the pressure of a varsity team.
Thanks, Brooke. And we'll be back with Today in History, Campus Connection, and how students showed their love for the city after this brief message.
Son, tell him that I've begun to dream of things to come, and tell the trees not to look for me. I'm going to find some peace of mind. Wake the sun, wake the sun, wake the sun, wake the sun.
I got no pulse, so losing. Shocking. Drives it road all the time. Just had a few drinks. Just can't be happening.
Are we clear?
Clear. We're just buzzed. Just buzzed. You didn't tell us that, sir. You're right. This isn't happening. You'll be fine. I feel good. Really? No, not really.
Buzz driving.
Clear.
Maybe we should stop acting like it's no big deal.
Shocking.
And it was today in 1942 that President Franklin D. Roosevelt signed a measure which lowered the minimum draft age from 21 to 18. Although World War II ended in 1945, the draft legislation lasted until 1947. During this time, more than 10 million men had been inducted into military service. And on this day in 1956, the Supreme Court struck down laws calling for the racial segregation on public buses. The ruling was in large part a response to the Montgomery bus boycott, which famously began in December of 1955 when Rosa Parks was arrested for her refusal to give up her seat to a white person. And today in 1982, the Vietnam Veterans Memorial was dedicated on the National Mall in Washington, D.C. Much of the news around Maryland campuses in the past couple of weeks has revolved around violent crimes, particularly at Towson University. Tonight, Maggie McBain takes a look at those incidents and other Maryland school news with Campus Connection.
Armed robberies taking place near Towson University have left many students on edge about walking around campus, particularly at night. Last weekend, a student was stabbed multiple times in the torso and was hospitalized with severe injuries. Several other armed robberies occurred over the same week. Today, there was another robbery on the same street as earlier ones last week. More police are being added to the patrol of the downtown areas to keep students and members of the community safe at all times when walking at night. Similar to the incidents at Towson University, 2 University of Maryland students were faced with what was said to be a gang of 8 to 10 men. The students were beaten and robbed on a pathway just off campus. One student was briefly hospitalized. Students around any campuses are encouraged to be alert and aware of their surroundings at all times, keep valuables out of sight, never travel alone, and trust your gut. If something doesn't seem right, call the police immediately. And Frostburg State University is going to be offering a new program in the spring of 2014. The Freshman Choice Program allows students to complete their first semester online. Tuition will be the same as if students were taking classes on campus, but students will be able to save at least $5,000 in the room and board fees, as well as other on-campus living expenses. The university is not planning to make this a way to attain a full degree program and is only going to take 15 to 25 students to be enrolled. To apply, you must fill out a form online and visit the campus for placement testing. The program is geared toward helping students who are making the transition out of high school or the armed forces, as well as people who are finding it difficult to get to campus because of the location. This is Maggie McBain with Campus Connection.
And on Saturday, a number of students gathered in Red Square to take part in various activities around the city. This was an attempt to maintain and strengthen the relationship between the city and the university. Tonight, Miranda Haney tells us about how students showed that they love Salisbury.
We're here bright and early at I Love Salisbury, a student-run event that helps fortify the bond between community members and SU students.
I Love Salisbury is an annual event we have every fall that we have a bunch of students gather in Red Square and we send them to various sites throughout the city. And basically it helps the students get back to the city. You know, they volunteer and it really bolsters our city relations. This is actually the 6th annual event, so 6 years strong.
Organizations at SU came out to Red Square on Saturday to participate in the event, grabbing breakfast, tools, and T-shirts, and heading out to local businesses and parks to clean up the community. Participants were enthusiastic and wide awake as they walked, drove, or took safe ride to their locations. SUTV caught up with a few of the students to ask why they love Salisbury and what it means to be part of this event.
I love Salisbury because it's a really nice town, the people are really nice, and it's beautiful here. We're in the Exercise Science Club, so we just want to find a way to give back to the community.
It's an amazing place to live. It's got water, people, everything that you need in life, so I just love it. I participate in I Love Salisbury because I just enjoy helping out in the community, and it's a good time with all my friends.
As the event's organizer Jared Power said, I Love Salisbury is an entirely student-run event and encourages other students to be proactive in giving back to the community. From SUTV News, I'm Miranda Haney reporting.
Thank you, Miranda. And that does it for our broadcast this week. I'm Eli Modlin, and for everyone here at SUTV News, thank you for joining us, and good night.